Hey everyone, ever since I got into collecting swords, people have been telling me that you do not want a razor edge on a sword. Apparently, having a shaving sharp edge on your sword does more harm than good, or at least that's the general consensus. Now, I do understand that the performance of a sword in cutting soft tissue such as, well, let's be honest, another person, or in our case, what we're going to be testing on is a pig hock, but how well a blade will pass through a soft target like flesh and to an extent even bone, though bone isn't exactly that soft, is relevant to the geometry of the blade more so than the edge sharpness. And that having a really sharp edge doesn't actually do anything. Or at least that's what the consensus in the sword community seems to be. For the most part, historically, from what I gather, swords were sharp, but not shaving sharp. They'd be convexed, just right at the end. They didn't need to be sharp enough to shave, but they would be not exactly a butter knife. Though, I have seen cutting tests done with swords dull enough that they would not cut the skin, and yet they would slice clean through tatami mats, as well as, I believe, even flesh targets, such as pigs. From what I gather, there's no real gain, for the most part, in having that shaving sharp edge. But, being a bit of a blade junkie, I like to have really sharp blades. So I wanted to see what would happen if I cut into skin, flesh and bone with a sword sharp enough to shave my arms and legs. No, I don't shave my legs, but let's just get one thing clear. I only ever shave the hair on my legs to test the sharpness of a blade. I'm not one of those guys who likes to shave his legs. So I built myself a stand, and I'm going to tape a pig hock to it, which is just a thick chunk of pork, the leg of the pig. I found one with a really big bone running through it, and I've gotten one of my katanas sharp enough that it will shave, well, shave arm and leg hair. I'm not trusting it to shave my face. It's a freaking sword. But, and I'm going to see how much damage is done to that edge. I'm thinking it will dull quite considerably, might even roll. Hopefully it will not chip, but we won't know until I actually do the test. And this is a $150 katana. It's the one that I added the crossguard to, I did all my pattern etching to. Yeah, it's a mono steel blade, so let's see how it will perform. This is a pig leg. There's quite thick, tough skin on it. There's another, I don't know if that's the knee joint in there, bone there, so this definitely is not a water bottle. And to show the sharpness of this, might have dulled a little since yesterday when I sharpened it, though honestly my arm hair has gotten quite tough from constantly shaving it with a big blade. So let's see how much edge damage we do. Slightly rolled it a little, possibly chipped it. I'll just put this meat away. have a look at it. It just got rolled just a little bit there. The section, maybe 2 little rolls, about 2 mil wide each. But yes, I know that was a very pathetic baseball swing, but tiny little bit of damage, just a tiny little roll on the edge. But then again, this being that sharp, I would want a sword this sharp personally, so I could deliver small flick cuts, you know, just a quick to, you know, open up an opponent and get them bleeding. Well, it cut clean through the pig hock. Not the smoothest cut. Definitely some fracturing, and yeah, it went clean through. It was a bit of a rough surface, and there's little bits of bone. The top part of it went flying, and we destroyed the stand. That's okay, I kind of expected that to happen. It's just a little something I threw together quickly. Ew, I hope that's right. But marrow is coming out. That would have easily taken your arm off. Yes, forgiving the fact that it was a pathetic baseball swing, practically. But, you know, I wasn't practicing my technique. I just wanted to see what kind of edge damage we would have from hitting solid bone with a blade that sharp. And, you know, I'm not unimpressed. Yes, there's a tiny little bit of rolling on the edge. I can fix that so easily. Just gotta resharpen it, it'll be fine. Nothing to worry about whatsoever. But, man. Oh! Sorry. There's 2 bones in there. There's a bone there and there. But, yeah. Someone's arm would have been gone. If that was your arm, or your, well, that would have been your shin, it'd be gone. That's probably why you want to wear armor. Okay, so before I go about fixing this tiny little bit of edge damage, I figured I'd try and let you have a better look at it. Some of this is actually just a bit of wood and stuff from the scabbard on the edge, but you'll notice that tiny little bit of a roll there. It's kind of hard to pick it up on camera, it's very small. The area that is damaged is about 1 centimeter long from passing through those 2 bones. But it's not exactly easy to show up on camera. That is not a chip. That's not chipped, that's rolled. So the metal on that edge was a bit too thin to be able to withstand that impact without rolling. So I could change the angle slightly to get a stronger edge, just take a slight bit of convexing. I'd still be able to have it very sharp, but would have a slightly wider angle. You can't see it very well on camera, and honestly it looks a lot worse on camera than it does in real life, just because of the contrast. It does look like a chip on the viewfinder, but in real life it's clearly just a tiny roll. But I will run a stone over that quickly and just do a simple sharpening and that'll be fixed. So I can understand why some people would definitely not want to have a shaving sharp sword. Just have it with a slightly wider edge angle, but then having it still convex to the same bevel geometry, just to give it a little bit more durability right on that edge, because edge sharpness has very little to do with cutting performance when we're talking about cutting flesh and stuff like that. And I might get a few questions. That is not a folded steel blade, that is a cosmetically etched blade. I did this pattern etching with nail polish, then I took a nail and removed the areas I wanted to etch, and then I etched the exposed areas with vinegar. Alright everyone, I hope you found this video interesting. That is pretty.